Let's try this one more time. Perkei 2:10. If you're following along with Rabbi Reuben's Musar Perkei series, it's 2:13, I believe, in his book. Date said three things. Rabbi Eliezer said, "Let the honor of your friend be as dear to you as your own, and be not easily provoked to anger, and repent one day before your death." And he also said, "Warm yourself before the fire of the wise, but beware of being singed by their glowing coals, for their bite is the bite of a fox, their sting is the sting of a scorpion, and their hiss is the hiss of a serpent, and all their words are like coals of fire." There's a lot of people that really twist repent one day before your death. Taking it quite literally. But I can't remember where it's listed. I swear I just wrote it down earlier today, but I couldn't find it in my notes. I'm blind. Maybe I can use a search and find it. No, that won't work. But there's some source where Rabbi Eliezer ben Hyrcanus's students, that's who gave that Mishnah a vote. They ask him, to vote around, are we really supposed to wait till the day before we die? That seems kind of, how do we know when we're going to die? So how will we know when we're supposed to do teshuva? So he says, all the more reason that you should do teshuva today, since you don't know when you're going to die. Thank God I've been pretty much constantly doing teshuva for at least the last year. I know it's not always as strong as it should be or could be. Come on, where is it? Okay, it's in a. That's what I thought. It's in a Gemara, so I'm not gonna give a source to put a stumbling block before the blind. As the goyim are supposed to look up that stuff. But I tried to start this. I mean, I did start this stream like 10 or 12 minutes ago, but I'm stupid. I forgot to take it off unlisted, and it was already set to the past, so the stream service won't let you edit it. I guess after it started, it's already. I don't know, but I wanted to go over last week's Torah portion. Kititze, or Kititzi, however it's pronounced. Kitets or TzE or EI, depending on which spelling. If you hammer it in enough times, you'll find it. But last week's Torah portion just had tons and tons in it. Just a lot of mitzvot, a lot of and a whole lot to learn from. I was saying in the stream that didn't go anywhere. But some Torah portions, especially like in Bamidbar, in Numbers, the previous book before Devarim, before Deuteronomy, is some are over like they were really hard for me to toil through to. That's our job. We have to toil, even when we don't like it, or we don't see any point. The real amazing thing is if we just keep doing it, it pays off so much in just unimaginable ways. But this last week's Torah portion had, I think I skipped over one thing that I thought was pretty crazy. I vaguely mentioned the like rebellious son, I think, but I don't think I mentioned there's in Deuteronomy 21:18, the if the rebellious son doesn't straighten out his path after being taken to the judges, the elders of the city, he's executed. He's stoned to death. And in the written Torah, all it says basically is that he won't listen to his parents, and he won't listen to the elders, and I think he gluts on meat and wine. But the Rashi's commentary says he's not executed until he is found a thief and eats a half maneh of meat and drinks a half a log of wine. And I mean, the Torah says I think in the verse somewhere it says 21:21 says all the men of his city shall stone him with stones that he die. So shall you put evil away from among you, and all Israel shall hear and fear. Well, it seems pretty crazy that they would, that God would rule a death penalty for someone that hasn't done anything that would, up until now, he's committed no crime for that the Torah is enumerated as a capital offense. And even if you go by the oral Torah, what Rashi says of theft, the theft for a Jew is not a death penalty. Theft is just repayment of double. And neither is, transgressing the rebuke or, chastising of your parents. But this may be another source for why going against the sages is a death penalty. as the Torah lists it right here, if your parents take you to the elders of the city and you don't listen to them, and you steal the Torah, God straight out commands that you are to be executed. But I think it also says, I can't remember which verse. I'm going off my notes here, so please forgive me. But I believe somewhere it also says that oh yeah, it's in the Rashi commentary on like 21:18 and maybe 19 that he's and probably the verses like before or after that, probably after 21:19 maybe, but it says that execute him while he is still while he hasn't committed any serious sin or something like that. Basically, basically execute him while he's not totally destroyed, because while gorging yourself on meat and wine doesn't seem like that big a deal to us, because that's something a lot of people do pretty much every day. Back then, meat and wine were not cheap, and if a person who already wouldn't listen to their parents and wouldn't listen to the elders and was found caught stealing, had already got a taste for stuff that was really expensive, like meat and wine. It would, cost a lot of money. They're already, lazy and a good for nothing, and wouldn't listen to authority. And so eventually, with that taste for meat and wine and expensive things, and nothing other than desire for physical pleasure of this world, they would have no problems doing other horrible things that would eventually require the death penalty to get all that physicality that they desired. And then they would be guilty of a sin. And not only would they be put to death in this world, they would be put to death in the world to come. So God sees it as not just sees it, it is more merciful that they be taken from this world before they destroy their next world. But the other crazy thing is they really don't have a next world until they come back again, because at least they don't have Gan Eden. Because no thief enters Gan Eden. Not even for a puta. Not even for $1. They have to, even a Jew is a thief. If they don't have the debt forgiven or pay it back, everyone has to come back in this world to pay their debts. And that's one reason why it's really good to forgive everyone that has ever wronged you or owes you money or whatever you think in your head. You better not just say the words, but ask God to help you help tweak your puny little heart to honestly and truly forgive them in your soul, because we don't want to come back here for any amount of money. Doesn't matter how much it is. Doesn't matter if it's $1 or $1 billion. We, if we have reached the finish line at the end of our life and somehow manage the merits to go again. And we don't want the thing that's going to hold us back to be money and some other nonsense garbage. So forgive everyone that ever wronged you. The other really huge reason is we get the mercy that we give other people. Not that God can just, forgive mass quantities of sins that a person commits, but he I read it in something recently. I can't recall if it was on Holocaust Yomit, which is Rav Ovadia Yosef's a website based on Rav Ovadia Yosef's rulings, ran by his son Rav Itzhak Yosef, which is the Rishon LeZion, the first of Zion. He's like the head rabbi of the Sfaradim in Eretz Israel. I can't remember if that's where I read it, but basically what I was reading said that God has rules for himself. He can't just outright forgive everything. Like if we forgive everyone, he won't just forgive all our sins. But if we are overall righteous and do real serious teshuva, TESHUVA, return to God. If we take it really seriously, he will be what this rabbi that wrote was calling he said there's strict graders and there's like if you have a teacher, there's strict graders and there's lenient graders. Like a strict grader will pay attention to every fine detail and give you a failing grade just based on like punctuation and the like the color of pen that you chose to use on a test or something. Where a lenient grader will take the overall accuracy and effort of a work that a person turned in. And so if we're strict with others and are very judgmental and harsh and unforgiving, that's how we get graded, and it's not a good plan. Because when the microscope gets turned on us, man, we look ugly. Especially with God using the truth as a measuring device. We look really horrible. So it's good to have good to forgive and like 100%. Just because the thing you have to know is that all those people that you're angry at and that you hate or you want to take vengeance against, all those people are just a stick that God used to beat you with, to beat us with. So it's pretty stupid to hold a grudge against a stick. Because, obviously you're not really holding a grudge against the state, you're holding a grudge against God. Because he's the one that's beating us. Well, we need a straightening. It's important to build fences if we want to keep ourselves from committing sins. Oh, another one that was really good, I think I missed last stream, was Deuteronomy 22:5. The apparel of a man shall not be on a woman, and a man shall not put on a woman's garment. All those who do are an abomination to the Lord your God. So if you groom your eyebrows and wear skin tight clothing and look in the mirror all day, or any other number of weird woman type things, or if you're a woman and you do manly stuff, it is an outright sin from the Torah. It's kind of screwed up with apparel though, for because the fashion of the goyim is just an abomination in itself, no matter which gender the clothing is designed for. You just have to know that no matter who it's made for on the rack, or what society thinks, if it's skin tight and flashy colors and designed to be a neon sign for "look at me," is probably at best not good, and at worst severe sin. But there's another one I was looking at. It was right after tzitzit, I think. It's a mitzvah of you shall make fringes on the four corners. Something about there's a whole list of crimes of what to do to a man and a woman if they are engaged in illicit relations, whether consensual or non-consensual. Some of it sounds like kind of not nice for the woman, but it's God, and we have to understand what and why it's being said. But in 22:23 Deuteronomy, if a girl is a virgin betrothed to a husband, and a man find her in a city and lie with her. 22:24, both man and woman shall be stoned to death, because the woman didn't cry out, and the man because he humbled his neighbor's wife. So obviously, if there was a case of rape inside a city and the woman did cry out, that would not be, at least that would be my thinking. But I'm not exactly a smart guy, let alone can never probably be a wise student, at least not as a goy. But Rashi says on 22:23 that a breach in the wall invites theft. If she had remained at home, this would not have happened. And the commentary, it actually says, like in parentheses, like a like something like a good Jewish woman. But I mean that's obvious, but it's really like any good woman. It's not really right for a betrothed woman, let alone any woman. Should just be out wandering in a city full of horrible people. A breach in the wall invites theft. If we don't build fences to protect ourselves from the sin, we invite a breach, or we invite theft of the Yetzirah, of the Satan to steal our Olam Haba, to steal our future world to come in a good place in heaven. And he swaps it out for an eternity in Gehinnom. So we have to look and see where the breaches in our walls are, and try to put something more than straw and sticks in there. Something fortified and packed full of vitamins and minerals. And hard as a rock. Not really. That's just words that people can imagine or would like being protective. Really, we need lots of. Actually, not really even lots of Torah. We just need a little bit, just a little bit of Torah, but it has to be just singed into our souls so deep that it never goes away. So there's always, no matter what happens, there's always an impression of something that reminds us of God and a roadmap out of the maze that we've gotten ourselves in. That's what the Torah is. Torah is a roadmap to find our way out of the maze, one step at a time. The first step, though, is getting to the center in the gazebo, so we can get a vantage point to see where everything else is at, especially all the other people that are out there trapped, and we can help direct them back into the center. And then once we've all done that, then we can finally leave the maze. That's the analogy that Rabbi Yerwin was talking about. I can't remember the sage that his book he was reading from. don't think I wrote it down. Not seem to be finding it. I need to take better notes. I've been trying, but man, it's hard. That's one thing I've tried to focus on lately is to stop eating shurim and to start digesting them. Like Rabbi Reuben says, first some people just eat books like it's some kind of contest just so you can just speed read through the biggest stack and then call themselves a Talmid Chacham, a wise student, or a Torah scholar, which that is the absolutely not point of ever learning Torah for anything good, not for the sake of heaven. It's only for the sake of me or whoever thinks like that. It's only for personal interest and their own pride and honor that anyone would do something so foolish. And so it's best to get the artificial mile markers out of the way and start looking at stuff that's really important, like not how many books did you chew through or lectures did you watch to max out the bandwidth on your internet connection each month. It's what did you learn? What did you retain? What did we apply to our lives? How did we change? What tools do we have to save us from going to hell and to fight off the Yetzer Hara the next time he comes knocking and trying to fool us into doing who knows what? The way we're supposed to learn is we're supposed to we're supposed to dedicate however much time it is completely to learning, as if there is nothing else that exists in the entire universe except for you and God and the Torah, and that's it. But it's not. It's rarely that easy. Rarely achieved, that's for sure. But it's definitely still something we have to remind ourselves of, and I try to take it more seriously and be more focused and really get into it as much as we can. And try to remember that we should be terrified when we learn. One, because God is right there, watching everything that we do. He's always there, no matter what. But when I'm sure it's nowhere near as intense and lofty as for a goy as it is for a Jew, but still, when anyone learns Torah, even a goy, it's that's important. So God's paying extra attention, but also, because it's a matter of life and death. Like will we live another day, another month, another year in this world, because because our actions have merited it, and will we merit to live forever? Because the sum of our actions merited it. So it's good to take it serious. Just remember, if you if you take it as seriously as I try to most of the time, you may have a tendency, depending on your physical and mental condition, and your overall health and whatnot, to let it overwhelm you and end up being maybe not the best possible scenario. So just try to find a balance where you can harness that fear and the like urgency and intensity and need to learn and apply it, with realizing that sometimes a person can get too wound up and too stressed out over all the things to worry about. Like I said, the Yetzirah is incredibly strong and incredibly sneaky. And if he can't get us to fail one way, he will work around every which way to try to find some corner to get us into, even if that is with fulfilling God's will long enough and driving us hard enough in just the right annoying way to finally make us snap and give up, or just beat us into a pulp and some bad scenario. So we have to always keep all things in mind and try to find a balance. Life is all about balance. Like the Rambam says, the golden middle path. I need to get to sleep, though it's later than I want it to be. And I still didn't even get very far on going back over Kititse. There was just so much to learn. I didn't even scratch the surface on what there was, let alone what I talked about here. I think Rabbi Reuben's shur, the last English shur from Israel, I think it's titled Ruach HaTumah versus it's a Ruach HaKodesh versus Ruach HaTumah. like Holy Spirit versus spirit of impurity. I think he talks a lot about sources from this week's Torah or last week's Torah portion, but this, Kititse, about money lending and interest, and about the Edomites being the brother of Israel. I can't remember if I mentioned this last stream either, but Deuteronomy 24:1 is it's a mitzvah to get divorced. Something that most people would not think of, especially anyone that adheres to the garbage of the New Testament. I mean, it's not like you get married and then get divorced because it's like an extra, good thing to do. You just do it a whole bunch of times. That's not what it means. It means when a man and his wife, cannot reconcile, then it is a mitzvah to get divorced. But it's not just like you get married and then you don't like the way your wife cooks the hamburgers, or cleans the floor or something, so you can get divorced, or she got fat or whatever. It's like, serious things like, is your husband or wife an idol worshiper? God forbid. Or, Goyim have a lot less serious things as far as a lot less serious things to worry about, or at least so many, as far as being in a kosher, a kosher relationship, which is anything that the Torah says is okay. There's so much to know. Like there's just, I mean, there's hundreds of laws, but really there's like thousands of ways that they're applied. That's what all the halakkas are, the halakot, HALACHOT laws, or I'm not sure if that's the correct word, but that's close enough. It's like how the law is interpreted and applied in real life. Because you can't just take the law and be like, okay, I don't know. There's nothing super complex for the Goyim that I can think of right now, but there are some laws that are insanely complex. Like it sounds simple, like don't do this or do this, but the written Torah doesn't clearly enumerate like the almost infinite number of ways and scenarios that could come to be where you would need to apply the law. So how could you possibly know unless you were a Talmid Chacham? Man, that is a big spider. Giant legs. And without the sages and the oral Torah, how would you possibly know how to apply it? You'd end up a complete heretic and dooming yourself to hell. But there's a lot of scenarios where there's some things that are permitted or they're forbidden. Except under certain circumstances where it's the complete opposite. Like getting divorced. You have to know when those things apply. That's why we need a rabbi. Because there is just so much to know. There's, it'd be one thing if we're all like stuck at a hole somewhere and didn't have the option to have a rabbi. Then you would be a noose. You would be, like forced where you didn't have any other option. But that is not the case. God gave us the internet, and He put the Torah on it, and we have to suck it up. And stop complaining. I mean, we all know what the truth is. We have to accept it. That is the hard part. I mean, that's, the first hard part. The second hard part is doing it. Most people can't accept the truth. That is a fact. There are some people who can, but they just, have a really hard time doing the truth. What the truth obligates them to do. Right now, I think the truth obligates me to go get some sleep. Oh man, I lost where that spider went. Can't be too many places that are too far away, so I'm gonna... Oh man. Thing looked like a little dog. Not quite that big, but it was big. Like this, bigger than a golf ball. But there's less than 13 days till Judgment Day, till Rosh Hashanah. Time is ticking down. There was another thing I've been thinking about. I should say, since it's in the front of my mind, and that means it needs to come out. Is a woman's voice is her nakedness. That's what the sages say. I can't remember what the source is for it. It's certainly true. No, I guess the actual quote is a woman's voice is like her nakedness. It's like her nakedness. The law is that you're not supposed to listen to a woman's voice, listen to a woman sing, if you know what she looks like. But I had a really disgusting, unfortunate occurrence of burning this truth into my soul, so I will never forget. I was doing something at the time that, I thought it was okay. It seemed, I mean, deep down, not even that deep, just like right below the surface, I knew it was wrong. And because I was going somewhere, I was fishing around for the truth when I knew right where it was the whole time. But, Yetzirah is very sneaky and extremely powerful, and he'll use something like, well, this is Torah. You should click on that. That will be good. The guy seems like a kosher rabbi. Or, he has a beard. And the really scary thing is if someone can not just look like that, but they can say absolutely nothing that is a lie, say nothing that is not 100% the Torah, and it can still be absolutely evil just because of the way that everything is put together. And to someone that isn't knowledgeable in, especially laws of modesty and like wasting seed, they all would have, watched / listened to what this video was and thought absolutely nothing was wrong. Seemed, totally kosher, depending on whether or not they like Donald Trump or not. But other than the politics, it was, most people probably would have thought it was fine. But it was not fine at all, and I knew that, like, immediately. Yet I still did not shut it off and run away. I let the fence get trampled. There was a breach in the wall, and it was severe. I mean, at least for what I consider severe. Didn't lead to anything, intentional, but it was still not good. I need to do a lot of tissue, though. Hopefully this counts for part of it. Don't listen to voices of random women on the internet. At all, ever. At least not if you're a man. And really, no one should listen to random voices of anyone, anywhere, unless you're forced to for some hoop that we have to jump through to pay taxes or whatever God sees fit to break our flawed to break our flawed character traits and humble us. But I hope you guys are taking advantage of this time. It's going to run out real soon. We all need to do more. Robert Ruben's been saying that for a long time. I finally started to really listen about 9 months ago after I had a really horrible experience. Hope, I would say that hopefully it doesn't take that for people to see, but pretty much does for people to really get serious. But if everyone took this seriously, everyone that heard it, everyone that listened to his shirim, and whoever hears this and starts learning Torah, if we all took it seriously and learned more and shared more, post clips and shared links of Torah and used, every spare moment that we had instead of, building guns and planting trees and working an extra job for, to buy a new truck or, that you don't need, or watching football and God knows whatever else horrible garbage on TV, or arguing on the internet, or looking up stupid nonsense about paranoid conspiracy theories that are just, just really all they are is a trail off to hell to lead you and me and everyone else from really seeing the truth, which is it's all garbage and it's all just a sock puppet, a stick of an excuse for people with no trust and faith in God, so they can blame someone other than themselves for their problems. And they're all going to see where that's going to get them in the end. But all of it's garbage. If we stop doing all that stupid garbage, and learn and share more Torah. Just try to get 10 people to do Teshuvah, this year. Whether it's, this actual year for like the next 13 and a half days or whatever it is, or one calendar year or whatever. Just try to get as many people as you can to do Teshuvah. And do Teshuvah yourself. Return to God. Teshuva. Teshuvah. To return. If we all did that, really quickly, the world would be so much better of a place to live. And God would give us so much more mercy because we would deserve more. So let's try to do that. I think that's a really good idea. Let's try to give God a reason to be a lenient creator. To look at our acts kindly and say, they certainly aren't the best, but they didn't do too bad. We'll give him a C minus. He just barely passed, even though he probably deserves like 3 Fs. Okay. May God please have mercy on us all. Please grant us the wisdom and the strength to outsmart and overpower the Yetzirah. To see the truth and to accept it. And to pass the test that He places before us. And it, so that we all, every single human being in this world, can all do full and complete Teshuvah this year, this month, this week, this day, this moment, right now. 110,000%. Absolutely. Maximum Teshuvah. Everyone, please.